Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 out of 14 presentations, you would think all of the tongue twisters are already behind you, especially at a tech event full of startups in technology and all disciplines. But you would be wrong, because then you bump into the 13th finalist of the day from Greece, and the idea of photosynthetic vertical controlled intense microalgae cultivation process for premium algal bio-based proteins production utilizing CO2 emissions. Vasilis Stenos from Solmeia.
Did you know that minute over minute, 200 babies are getting born and approximately 100 people are dying? So we're getting more and more on Earth, but our natural resources are finite. So we need more food and fuel, more efficient ways for food and fuel production to further mobilize and feed us all, unless we had one extra Brazil. Indeed, humanity is facing a double positive problem. On the one hand, we have the climate change, and on the other hand, we have the livestock revolution / overpopulation. So there must be a change. We at Solmeia utilize the ample sunlight, the carbon emissions from the atmosphere, as well as water side streams, and through our vertical microalgae cultivation for the optimal use of the land and the rest of our natural resources, we produce biofuels, pharma, food and feed proteins within a frame of 3 to 5 months. Algae is an undeniably higher content source and efficient way for biofuels production, compared, for instance, to rapeseed or soy. Why now? Because the global protein market is growing at unprecedented rates. Likewise, the algae one. We have substantial reasons for all partners of our proposed solution to be benefited, from the CO2 emitter, contributor, polluter, all the way to the investor, as well as our B2B end users. More precisely, our biofuel manufacturer will end up getting our microalgal-derived lipids on a fixed cost price versus the price volatility of the crude oil. Solmeia's vision and mission are closely aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So far, we are proudly serving 9 out of those. Given our market analysis and research with the Northeastern University and St. Gallen University, we expect to capture a market share of approximately 1% of the 3 clusters we are doing business with. And then this can get translated into 70 million of revenues within the 5 years of our operation. So far, we're asking for just 1 million. That way, we expect to capture 8 tons of CO2, and within a 500 square meters underutilized, non-fertile, and non-arable land, we're supposed to produce biofuels, food feed, and pharma proteins. That way, we expect to break even within a period of 3.5 years, given our weighted profit margin of almost 82%. So far, we have established connections with all our key supply chain, key partners of our supply chain, from input all the way to the output. The validity of our saying is getting further confirmed, given our seal of excellence and the rest of our international accreditations. So why invest on us? Because Solmeia team is comprised of scientists and engineers with real-life business experiences, as well as the drive and commitment to do whatever it takes in reference to microalgae harvesting and high-value end products for humanity. So we at Solmeia are going to make mobilizing, eating, living, and being well a feasible part of a crowded world, and would love to have you all joining us. So thank you all very much for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Solmeia. We have Vasilis joining us live now. Hello, Vasilis. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you.
Vasilis, yeah, the video is breaking a little, but let's see if we can hear each other. Vasilis, do you remember an early question to one of our jury members when I asked what would be a typical deal breaker when you talk to the investor? Do you sometimes, when you start a conversation with an investor, tell them that they need to drink a double espresso before they hear your answer to the question, what do you do?
I wish I have a more concise answer to pretty much, yes, you take waste and you produce something valuable. So from CO2 all the way to food and fuels.
Sure, but as far as tongue twisters go, you're number 1 in this competition. Enjoy the questions from the jury.
At least I had a very easy last name compared to most Greek ones.
Precisely. 2 minutes, Vasilis, enjoy.
Thanks.
I have a question about your business model. Could you please elaborate a bit more on your business model and how did you calculate the margin of 22%? Sorry, 82%.
82%. Okay, so first of all, thank you for your question. We have to sell our proteins, as you may have checked our annexes slides, on the very same price like corn, hay, starch, wheat, derived protein. Whereas there are way bigger profit margins from the pharma substances, more precisely the phycocyanin, the natural blue pigment on Earth. We produce it for 50 up to 60 euros per kilogram produced, whereas the competition produces that for approximate price from 200 up to 280. Selling price for this one can be 300 up to 450, or even 900 given the purity. So this is where we have on the pharma substances way higher profit margins. So the weighted one is 80%.
Thanks.
Thank you as well.
Hi, Vasilis. I'm an old-fashioned beefsteak lover, but I fully trust in the big market that you're addressing. So the question, therefore, is, I mean, have you considered an alternative scenarios, alternative growth patterns? I mean, honestly, targeting 1% of the serviceable market doesn't seem the most, I would say, ambitious strategy. Have you considered others, maybe at the cost of the margin?
Again, thank you also for your question very much. I expect you to remain being a meat lover. This plant-derived alternative protein from algae can easily be assimilated from the same animals, the cows, etc., and it helps their meat and milk production to get raised. So, given back to your question about if we can expect to get higher market shares, I guess yes, we could possibly do so. But we are not targeting so right now because given the capacity we have, we just expect to reach that 1% or less than 1% according to the protein segment. We are only B2B business doing as of now, and there is a high demand because we don't act against anyone else competitively. We act supplementary. We just try to add just a small percentage of the ratios.
And we need to stop here on this positive note. Thank you very much, Vasilis Stenos. Thank you to the jury for the questions. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vasilis.